Do you think all NBA players should be able to spin a basketball on their finger?
I think so.
Do I have to ask why you're just wearing a jacket and some shades?
Look, bro, it's my bachelor party weekend. Figured I'd dress like Joe Burrow in Paris.
But Joe Burrow didn't have a back on his outfit. You don't have a front.
I thought he didn't have the shirt underneath.
I thought he wore a jacket, but the back was cut out like George Costanza's date to the ball. If you've been to that episode yet,
I thought he was just wearing a blazer with no undershirt.
I could be wrong, but I want to say I saw him and Jamar Chase walking around. Was it Jamar Chase or was it Justin Jefferson? Whoever it was, Joe Burrow didn't have the back of his suit.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was.
No, you totally fucked this thing up.
Oh, damn it! I wanted to just be cool like them, dude.
No, I mean you do look cool.
Yeah. Well, not really. It looks cool from the screen up. What you can't see is my stomach that's gained a little bit of weight since I got this blazer and the button was holding on for dear life.
Yeah, it's fine. Why don't you stand up for everybody? Let's see it.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
I don't need to do that. I don't need to gross everybody out around dinner time. Mm-hmm.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. Steven's headed to his bachelor party tomorrow.
Joey B.
Yes. What was his nickname? Joe Shiesty?
What is that? Was that his nickname?
Yeah, once upon a time.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I think I look better than him, to be honest. I mean,
yeah.
the face is a little fatter, chest is a little hairier, and actually got a beard. Joe, that's the next. Yeah, that's see. Okay, thank you, Ernie. It's the front shirtless, not the back.
I want to. I could have sworn I saw him walking around with no back on his shirt or whatever his outfit was.
Maybe that's what you wanted. Maybe that's what you wanted.
No,
Joe.
Steven, I saw the comparisons where George wanted his girl to show up to the ball with no back.
I still have to get. I do have to get to that episode. What episode am I on? Well, just I don't know the exact one, but I did just finish the one where Jerry ran into his old high school buddy and or old friend from junior high when he was dating that girl named Lois. And they got,
yes.
they got
I choose not to run.
yeah. That was
Remember in Mr. Bevilacqua's class?
that's actually the first time that Jerry Seinfeld made me laugh out loud on that show.
With his high pitched voice, because I choose not to run.
No, nothing with his voice, just in the slow mo when he was running. It did get me when they actually raced on the street and the guy. The guy went a little. Also, that guy doesn't talk. He talks a lot in the show. He has a weird role in National Treasure where he doesn't even talk. He just like says, okay. It's like the easiest acting job I've ever seen.
You're talking about Duncan?
Was his name Duncan? Yes, Duncan. I'm talking
Steven, you're talking to a Seinfeld-nophile, I guess.
Seinfeldophile.
Yeah, sure.
Sinophile.
Just, be careful. I don't like to explain what that means to people.
I don't like putting file at the end of things. Like, I just don't like saying I'm a file. It just reminds me too much of pedophile. Like,
yeah, see, that's the problem.
Like when someone likes movies and they're a cinephile, it sounds even worse than a pedophile. I don't know what's worse than a pedophile. But it's like
I would say pedophile is much worse. But yeah, I hear you. Whenever files at the end of it, it's a little as the kids say, sus.
Oh wow! So he was okay. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Was I right?
I'm all over.
Just tell me I'm right. It's okay.
You're right.
Thank you.
About the Seinfeld thing.
Oh,
but the Joe Burrow thing, you are correct about the Joe Burrow thing.
See,
so he has the blazer without the front.
So you're rocking that. Okay, you got that.
And then the hole in the back.
Oh, with a diamond in the back, gator boots.
Oh man, like that's a bad look, man.
See, he's just like Kramer. I don't know if you got to that episode, but the back rips off at the end.
But this is the version I wanted to be.
Okay.
Blazer without the shirt in front.
All right. So you're gonna rock that all weekend?
Rock that all weekend as we take the private jet over to South Lake Tahoe. I got the
Who's paying for that private jet?
I got the boat. I'm gonna be sailing. I'm gonna be styling, profiling, jet flying, women stealing. Well, actually, not. Love you, Jesse. But I'm gonna. It'll be a good time.
She wants to ride Space Mountain. Where's Alexander Scott when we need him? She told you know what she told me.
This jacket has you can't tell, but this jacket has a lot of lint on it.
You gotta get a nice lint roller.
I know. I got it stored away somewhere, but should have taken the lint roller to this thing. It's not as good looking when there's a bunch of lint all over.
So what's the plan? You're headed over to Tahoe tomorrow?
Yeah, heading over there tomorrow.
Nice.
I will not be wearing this, but quite frankly, I'm already sweating, and it's only been like 6 minutes of live time, and I'm already sweating in this thing, so I don't think this would be a good idea.
Hey, man, when the sun's shining, you're always cool, so don't worry about the sweat.
One thing I do want to do that would be really funny is go to a club and then meet up with maybe like another guy who's having his bachelor party, and then we do like a jersey swap afterward, aka like a shirt swap.
Okay.
Just meet up afterward.
Are you planning on hitting many clubs in Tahoe? I don't know if Tahoe's a really big club spot.
Look, dude, have you been to the Mont Bleu? All right. Have you been to the Mont Bleu?
No, I haven't.
Clearly you haven't, because there's a club in the Mont Bleu.
Is that what everybody calls it, the Mont Bleu?
That's what I call it.
All right.
Yeah.
Steven's ready to party. And I'm sorry I will not be I won't be there with you this weekend, but it might be a better time without me.
All right, I'm gonna take this jacket off now and put on my regular t-shirt.
I'll be right Come on, show us your stomach. Oh, I saw a little bit of it. Oh,
you don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that, man.
So yeah, Steven's going to Tahoe this weekend and to do his bachelor party. And so you're going to the Century. What's the championship called? The old the golf tournament there.
The American Century Championship.
The American Century Championship. I'm expecting you to go there and get some scoops on where Aaron Rodgers was during his time off during minicamp, because he shows up to that Tahoe golf tournament every year.
Didn't we find out that he was going on a trip? Didn't we learn about that?
Yeah, apparently he went to Egypt or something. And you know what? In hindsight, we got a trip planned for Egypt and it's minicamp. I would say that should be excused. I understand, in the NFL world, that can't be excused. But the media, I think, should just lay off. He has a plan to Egypt. I think that's pretty cool.
You seen the dude? Have you seen that dude who was crying though when he met him?
Vern Glenn?
No, Aaron Rodgers. You haven't seen that yet?
No.
Oh, Derek. Oh, good. We're gonna the pull-up game is about to be strong early in this one.
I don't watch everything Deb Kleiman posts.
Yeah, you do. This is from a credited account. You sent me one of the NBC Sports Bay Area. You ever heard of it?
Yeah. Yes, of course I have.
Have you seen this?
Where is this? Oh, this is last year.
Was this last year? I think it's this year, dude.
Well, why would he already be golfing?
Because a lot of the golfers have already been out there. They're doing their early rounds.
Is this guy wearing an 8 Jets jersey?
Yes. I think they do the practice rounds on Wednesday and the regular rounds Thursday, Friday. And I believe if they make the cut, they're into Saturday.
I sit corrected. All right, let's see this thing. Let's see this guy cry, Steven.
I feel yeah.
I just want Super Bowl, please.
Oh God.
That's so nice.
He wants a Super Bowl, man.
Steven, I can't watch that. That's. Hey, listen, I know special moments, for people are different, but that's a 40-year-old man crying, meeting another man. Come on.
Yeah, well, wants his Jets to win.
I would only react that way if I saw, the man that came up with the Tenacious D MVP award. If I saw Jables, I'd probably react that way.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also just I think that's the representation of just Jets fans in general. At least that guy's secure with his emotions. Like,
Yeah.
this is a long-suffering Jets fan who just wants to see them win a damn Super Bowl.
I will say that is a little more refreshing than the normal Jets fan who's like, "Hey, Raj, you gonna show up this year? What the fuck? Huh? Week 1, where were you last year? Oh, my Achilles! Oh, give me a fucking break."
Tebow, save us.
I don't think anybody was pining for Tebow.
Oh, they did once. There's a very popular sound clip where they're really pissed at Mark Sanchez, and then they were calling for Tebow. It's a backup.
We'll get to a lot of football today, but before we do that, I want to get an answer from you for my question at the start of the show. Do you think all NBA players should be able to spin a ball on their finger?
Unless they're playing for the Globetrotters, no.
Yeah, so Tom, as a former NBA player, we brought up the sound. I don't know if you've seen it, Stephen, of all the NBA players at Team USA being asked about this. And most of them could. Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard left today and was replaced with Derek White. And his own teammate, Jaylen Brown, was not too happy about that. Interesting. Anyway, Kevin Durant was very judgy. Did Jesse just throw something at you?
Yeah, socks. She just got in, and there's a pair of socks on the table that I threw at her, and then she threw them at me back. Anyway,
you should never have socks on the table.
I know. That's why I threw them at her.
So Kevin Durant was very judgmental of anybody that, like, a professional basketball player should always be able to spin a ball on his finger, and the guys that couldn't do it were Steph. Steph was this is one of the few times where I'm like, yes, because Steph is good at everything, but in this video, he was basically embarrassed to admit that he cannot do it. And that's okay, because the man is a great basketball player. You know who else who can't do it? LeBron James said he couldn't do it himself. And Joel Embiid said he couldn't do it. So I, for years, tried to do that and couldn't get it done, and now I feel a lot better about myself.
Do you? Just because Embiid and Steph and LeBron can't do it?
Yes, I feel like I'm in their class now.
Yeah. You're in their class now.
Yeah.
I guess you should be able to, though. Like, how are you going to play basketball for thousands and thousands of hours of your life and not learn to actually spit it on your finger or not be able to do it?
I was a little surprised that a few high profile names couldn't do it, but whatever.
Look,
I mean,
man,
there's
no Curly Boo Johnson or Paul Showtime Gaffney.
Yes. I mean? Yes, the great players of the Globetrotters.
Mm-hmm.
You know any of the names of the generals? They always changed. No one remembers those guys.
I never knew the names of the
poor
generals.
Bastards.
Those are the only two names I remember. Paul Showtime Gaffney was the guy who was on the mic when I went to see them at Oracle Arena a long time ago.
You know, I remember, I want to say it was during a Raiders-Broncos game years ago. I'm talking like maybe 25 years ago. During the broadcast of Monday Night Football, they cut into the broadcast to give the score of a Harlem Globetrotters game to show that the Generals beat the Globetrotters. And I don't think that was supposed to happen. Of course, obviously, everybody knows that it's a fixed thing. It's fun. But for whatever reason, if this must have been like 2000, the Harlem Globetrotters the Washington Generals beat the Harlem Globetrotters. And it was like big, like, what the fuck happened? I always wanted to know about that.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, the Scooby-Doo characters.
Like John Lennon's death.
You would also interrupted by Monday Night Football.
Correct.
This could be a great game, but it's all moot today because John Lennon is dead.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Your impressions are off the chain right now, man.
Off the fucking chain. It's my Nick Frost from Hot Fuzz.
You ruined it all. You ruined everything with that.
With that last one?
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good.
No,
I did the last podcast too. You ain't seen Bad Boys 2. All right. So everything's official now. The whole waiting period of what was, official with NBA free agency is now finally done. And Klay Thompson spoke at his press conference, introduced as a Dallas Maverick, and talked a little bit about leaving the Warriors. Do you have that clip, Steven? You're muted.
Yes, I do. Hang on.
Okay. So everybody's reacted to it now. Steve came on with us earlier this week, talked about Klay leaving. Steph has talked about it a bunch, did a sit-down interview with Malika Andrews, and Vincent Goodwill, great name, with Yahoo Sports. But Klay Thompson was introduced as a Dallas Maverick, and here's what he said about leaving the Warriors and how things weren't great last season.
The thing he wanted for you more than anything was to see the joy back in your game. Had you lost some of the joy in the game?
There was times last year it was really tough. I mean, you know, everyone expects you to be that all-NBA player, and, you know, sometimes it's hard to consistently do that. That's why there's only 15 slots on that team, and coming here is just such a fresh start and feeling just wanted again, and like I bring great value. It just gets me excited to go out there and even work out after this press conference and get shots up. And so, yeah, there was times last year was tough where it wasn't as joyful as it had been in the past. And it's nice to kind of shed that and have a whole new fresh start, whole new group of guys to get to know, and co-workers. So a whole new city. It's really cool, and I'm going to embrace the heck out of this opportunity.
All right. You know, I know a lot of people try to make something out of that quote, along with him talking about why he left, and there's nothing there. That's just my opinion. Like at the end of the day, I know a lot has been written. I know a lot about his frustrations, and they're all valid. But sometimes you just want to do something new, and I applaud Klay. And let's not act like, I mean, I'll admit this. I don't know how many Warrior fans are going to admit this, but like watching that playing game, I was like, all right, I've seen enough.
The only thing with that clip, and I'm glad we played this one because this was the one that really stuck out outside of when they asked him, if you weren't playing pro basketball, what would you do? And then he responded by saying that he thinks he could go on to Jeopardy, and because he's got a lot of knowledge from hours on Wikipedia. So
I did not see
Mavericks
that,
fans,
but that's fantastic.
Mavericks fans got a good idea of what Klay's about, and his boat can be taken on a lake. So he's going to be doing a lot of kayaking, a lot of water sports. But
Okay.
The thing that stuck out to me, and that was the beginning of that clip, that was really the beginning of his press conference. Look, I don't think Klay was trying to be like LeBron level calculated, where everything he says has a meaning to it. Whatever people thought was a thinly veiled shot at the Warriors or a subtle jab, I don't think he was trying to do that. I don't think that was his aim. I think he was just talking to the media, and if something comes off the wrong way, then people can interpret it however they want. I just don't think that Klay would want to do that. However, and maybe he was exaggerating, but when he said everyone expects you to be this all NBA player, I'm like, Warrior fans didn't want you to be an all NBA player, dude. Like, I think it just speaks to the expectation he really put on himself.
Yes.
Earlier this season. There's no Warrior fans who wanted him to be an all NBA player. I think Warrior fans, more than anything, just wanted Klay to look like he's having fun on the court. There's nothing better than when Klay's having fun. And when he says everyone expects you to be this all NBA player, I'm like, who put that burden on you? I don't.
Himself.
I think he did. And, you know, and that was that's the downfall. And I think that's going to be the number one thing I'll pinpoint. It's not going to be these contract negotiations, though they did certainly play a part in it. Like, I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying there's any one sole reason as to why he left, but I'm just going to look at it like, look, when he came back from injury and after those championships, he had high expectations of himself, and he didn't live up to those expectations. For whatever reason, he felt like he was letting the fans, maybe his coach, I don't know if he's talking about maybe the team expected more of him, but it didn't sound like it from everything that we talked about or we've heard during the season. It didn't sound like it. So I don't know, just the not living up to expectations. I think that's what I'll chalk it up whenever I'm remembering why Klay left. I think that's what I'll chalk it up to.
When Steve came on with us earlier this week, Tom just straight up asked him, do you think it's best that the two sides departed just because it's best for Klay to move on after everything that's gone on? And Steve didn't come out and say like, yeah, like that's the best thing in the world. But he did say we had several discussions about everything that was happening. Ultimately, when it came down for him, it was that he felt like a change of scenery would be good. I hate to even say it, but it would be the best case for both sides. And I agree with that. I think that I know a lot of people are like, well, they didn't get better with Klay. Maybe they didn't. But I think in order for the team to grow and for Klay to grow, I think that it was best to move on. And I saw, a worse Klay Thompson this season. There were moments where he shined coming off the bench and everything, where he scored, I think, 35 points against Utah. But besides here or there, Klay was just, he's been in a kind of a mind fuck for the last 3 seasons since he came back from the torn Achilles and torn ACL. And Steve even said that's where he thinks everything changed, because he was a different Klay Thompson after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to make too much out of it. I'm happy for Klay. It was good to see him smiling and everything in a new place. Don't know what his whole situation is going to be with the Mavericks. Don't even know if he's going to start. But kind of weird. He's wearing 31. Was that Sean Marion's number?
Reggie Miller was the guy he kind of cited as his inspiration for that. But, yeah.
But I want to say Sean Marion wore number 31 with the Mavericks.
Number 0 too?
Could have been. I'm terrible with basketball numbers, so I could be totally off. But I'm sure one of the opiners will correct me here. Yeah, dude, I didn't really read too much into it. It was just Klay moving on to a different team, and I'm happy for him. That's all I got to say about that.
He was. We were both right. He was 31 in Phoenix and 0 in Dallas. So,
okay.
So we were both right on some level. I think the same with the. Was he with the Magic too? No, I was never with the Magic. I don't think. Whatever. No, I do think it'll be cool for him to get to learn from Jason Kidd. I think, Jason Terry wore number 31.
Yeah, it was a Jason Terry. Yep.
But I do think it's cool that he gets to learn from Jason Kidd, because Klay really is a student of the game, kind of a historian, and the guys he grew up watching, the guys he grew up idolizing. Well, Jason Kidd was a part of that era. I think that's really cool that he gets to play with a guy like that, as opposed to, I don't know, some assistant coach who's really good and risen through the ranks, say like the Thunder head coach, whose name is escaping me right now, Mark Daigneault, or someone like that.
Yeah.
Someone who's been like an assistant for a long time and kind of earned their spot.
Like JJ Redick.
Like JJ Redick. Could you imagine Klay? I swear, I don't think he wanted to say it, but I really think that had a big part of it. That had a big thing to do with it. Like, you don't want to play under JJ Redick.
Well, not only that, but I'm sure he was like, "I'm signing how long here? Like how much longer is LeBron going to be here?" There was a lot of factors why he didn't go to the Lakers,
for sure. But I guarantee it, he's not going to say it in public. And this is just me speculating. But I think that him saying, I'm going to play for JJ Redick. No, I'm not doing that.
He's a better shooter than that guy. He can't tell me anything.
He can't tell me nothing. Like, what's he going to tell me? So the fact that he gets to learn from a guy like Jason Kidd, I'm excited for him to do that. But obviously what Steve Kerr and Steph Curry said is totally right. Do we want to get to that?
Yeah, let's do it. Anything in particular that Steve said you want to get to?
Well, just the really both of the clips from what Malika Andrews interview, when Malika Andrews interviewed them. Hang on.
I did this. Whoa. You told me that it didn't.
Hang on. All right. I was playing from the direct message. When does it ever do that?
From mine?
Also, Ernie 2, Bronny with 3 points today. Yeah, I have a gripe with that. We'll get to that later. So
here's Steph's reaction to Klay leaving.
Times that you and I did this, you told me that it didn't even feel close to the last dance for the two of you, Klay and Draymond. When did that change?
I mean, we talked about it a lot, just in the sense of the journey that we've been on. Obviously, me since 2009, Klay's a 2011 draft, Draymond, and then when Coach came in 2014, and what's happened since, we would have loved to maintain, the core and finish out together. But we obviously understand the league and things change, and having Klay head on to Dallas, it's tough. It's something that I never imagined would be a reality, but, you want him to be happy. You want him to be able to enjoy the game of basketball. It does suck losing Klay. There's no two ways around it. So you have to be able to celebrate what we accomplished, but then be able to move on.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm glad that Ernie brought it up here. Steve Kerr's face. Both of their faces. If you go back and look at the clip, both Steve Kerr and Steph Curry are waiting for Malika to finish the question because they're like, "Here it comes. They're gonna ask about Klay, and we got to be supportive. Here we go." You're muted again.
Yeah, they had to prepare themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But
That's what you expect. It's gonna suck. It's gonna
Yeah.
suck for everybody. Yeah.
yeah, when he comes back to Chase Center, I didn't really think about just how emotional it really will be when he comes back to Chase. And you got to think their first matchup is going to be at Chase. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably
What about opening night?
opening night, make it an ESPN game so Bob Myers can talk. Like, I think ESPN really wants to set this up.
I think it would be if it was opening night, it'd have to be on TNT.
Yeah, I guess so. But ESPN does that too, doesn't it?
On the Tuesday of the season opener, there's a doubleheader. If I had to guess, they're going to do 76ers Celtics and some variation of Warriors, Mavs, or Lakers. Because
Right.
LeBron always gets that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I didn't really think about how emotional that would actually
Yeah.
be.
It's gonna be emotional.
Has there been one thing for you that's maybe surfaced, like a video or something from those championship years that's popped up and you're like, damn? Because I had one that I didn't see at all until like an hour ago.
Well, dude, I mean, this has been going on for a couple weeks now. Like last
Mhm.
Monday it was official, and I've had to go through so much footage and get rejoins together for the show. So there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint one thing. I'll always remember Klay against the Thunder in Game 6, but just him, like, just being like, it hasn't really hit me yet. Like seeing even in that press conference, like it won't hit me until the season starts that Klay's not there. So yeah, I will say this: as of right now, I mean, maybe it's just me being in football mode. I'm kind of over it. Like, okay, Klay's moved on. It sucks, but that's just a part of sports. It won't hit me until we start playing basketball.
Yeah, for sure. And the more you go on social media, the more it's gonna just hit you in the face because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of pages dedicated to it. But there was one that got me in the feels, and that was right after the first championship when they got in trouble for posting that video. I'm in love with the
Oh,
go.
yeah.
And then you got like
I
Sean
forgot how big of a
Livingston
deal that was. Yeah.
looking like Sean Livingston, looking like a badass. You got Mo Spates first going like LB. Everyone trying to get Leandro Barbosa to join in. You had Draymond kneeling on the seat with the championship trophy. You had David Lee hugging it. Although I did the thing. I broke my New Year's resolution. New Year's resolution's out the window. Like, forget about it. I looked at the comments, and there was one asking who that other guy holding the trophy was next to Draymond Green. And anyone who's watched the Warriors would know that that's David Lee. But
That's
people
new
were
fan
arguing,
base, man.
people were
That's the new fan
arguing,
base.
people were arguing whether it was David Lee or not. And I genuinely got mad. I'm like, you do not deserve to watch that. You did not deserve to watch that team win championships if you can't name David Lee. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this goes back to what you've been talking about, and I've been hearing it more and more lately, where everybody's just so mad that they're not making a move for a big name like Lowry Markkanen, and these are the same fans that want Jonathan Kuminga, that he could do no wrong. Steve Kerr's the one at fault, but
Yeah.
now everybody's willing to trade him away to get Markkanen.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but these fans sometimes, man, God.
I'm not gonna get on my high horse, okay? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that during the Cohan years, not gonna sit here and tell you I was watching the Warriors at that time. Like,
Yeah.
for me growing up, like, I was, when the Warriors were in that era, that was in a time when, as a sports fan, you kind of follow what your parents and your family watches, and my family weren't basketball people, so I didn't really get into it until kind of the year after the We Believe. Really, We Believe during that run. That kind of had me watching after. I was like, ooh, this Warriors team's interesting. I didn't even know the Warriors were in the Bay Area for the longest time. Until I was in like middle school or elementary school or something.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna act like I would come visit my dad in the Bay Area when I was a kid, but
Right.
my memories when I was a kid of the Warriors was run TMC because I was just so young and my dad was calling the games. But when I moved around to Texas, I wasn't following the team.
Yeah.
They were god awful. I knew about Jason Richardson and Adonal Foyle and Antoine Jameson, but I mean, to act like I watched every Warrior game, I had like the NBA League Pass. I was watching the Warriors in Houston. I was like, no.
Mhm.
Now, when We Believe happened, oh yeah, because they were nationally televised, I was watching that and loved it because they were beating the Dallas Mavericks, and I was living in Texas, so I fucking loved that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a new fan base. But to go to, Otis Bird.
To be fair, Shaq didn't even know where the Warriors played. Steph didn't know where the Warriors played.
And let's be fair too. A lot of people in the Bay Area in the early 2000s were rooting for the Lakers.
Yeah, but to close out this point here, my point is, if you don't know David Lee,
yeah,
all right, if you don't know David Lee, come on,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But to what Steph says there, yeah, I mean that's obviously a normal reaction to have. It's going to suck, but we got to move on. I think the clip that everybody got kind of up in arms about that I thought was kind of ridiculous was when he was asked about his future with the Warriors, and he was like, well, right now I want to be a Golden State Warrior and I want to finish my career. But things happen, you never know. And that's just being real. Like, I think he has all the tension in the world to finish his career as a Warrior. But things happen. Maybe he declines as a player. Maybe the Warriors want to move on. I think that'd be a cold day in hell for Joe Lacob, but you never know. You do never know. So while everybody was like, oh my God, what does that mean? It's just a player being real. That's it. I don't anticipate Steph Curry playing for anybody else in his career, but if he does, hey, we've seen it before. So I'd say let's live in the now, everybody.
It's that is just the realization of the new collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
Like that's what that is.
Yeah.
Like that's why there's skepticism. It's not skepticism around whether he wants to be with the Warriors. Although I do kind of sense a pattern though. Like, they keep on talking about their number one goal is winning, win. And there is a chance that he sees them not going in a winning direction. Like,
well,
2 years, it'd be something to be a lifer, but if the team stinks by, let's just say, next off season, I mean, they're going to be negotiating. I think him and whoever does negotiating for him, they're going to be doing that a lot of this year. Mike Dunleavy is going to be very busy again, but I also think the main point of that was with this new collective bargaining agreement, you really never know because teams might want to stay under that second apron and whatever. They don't want to have a first round pick frozen in the next 8 years or whatever that stupid rule.
Yeah.
There's so many rules with that tax apron. It's kind of annoying. Like, can this be straightforward? Because it doesn't have to be. It's $1 billion business, but
it is annoying, and I don't care to learn it. That's just me being ignorant too. But
salary cap penalties, though, man, they understand it now, and they know that teams can't just hand out these $60 million contracts anymore.
Yeah, and there is no franchise tag in basketball, so guys are free to leave. So that's always on the table. But you brought up a good point. If the Warriors don't show a desire to win or the urgency to win in Steph's remaining years and Steve's remaining years, I do wonder about, Steph. I don't think he'd be the type of guy to show his frustration and be like, I need to get out of here. But, okay, let me ask you, so the latest with Lowry, is that what we're saying? Lowry Markkinen?
Well, yeah. So I guess that's how its name's pronounced.
Okay. Lowry Markkinen. The latest with him is that Anthony Slater says that the Warriors are basically wait-and-see mode with Lowry Markkinen. And he's eligible for an extension on August 6th. It's kind of like a couple years ago when Draymond was eligible for an extension but didn't get one and then went to free agency and all that. So it's just a matter of if the Utah Jazz want to build around him or they just want to keep rebuilding and trade him away to a different team that wants to give him an extension. Either way, the Warriors would have to pay him. But as many teams say, before the season starts, they did say, yeah, we'll see about what happens with Markkinen. But if it doesn't happen, we are content with the team we currently have. And I call bullshit on that one. because you can't tell me that this team is an improvement of a year ago. Maybe in here or there, Buddy Hield, okay, coming off the bench, not a great defender. Kyle Anderson, I've warmed up to a little bit. Everyone tells me that I'm a little too biased about what happened 2 years ago in the playoffs. He's not a shooter. He's a better defender. But you can't tell me this team is better. You can't tell me this is a better team than a 10th seed a year ago on paper. So, yeah, you try to get marketing, but I don't think this team is going to be very good next year with what the Warriors currently have.
Hard to say. There's going to be a lot of different factors. Because I think the goals have kind of shifted. Their focus has kind of shifted. Last year, the offseason was all about how they're going to work Chris Paul into things. You got Jordan Poole gone. How's Chris Paul going to factor into all of this? And I think that kind of created some confusion around what they were doing with like Jonathan Kuminga and then in turn Klay Thompson. And I think they had a lot going wrong for them. So I even think last year's team was better than what they showed. I know their record was their record, but I'm not going to go full Bob Fitzgerald and say that they'd get 20 more wins if Draymond was not suspended. But with everything they went through, I thought that team was much better than what they showed at the end of the season.
People forget that the team was struggling with Draymond prior to the suspension. But
still, like I doubt they are a 10th seed if there aren't all those other factors at play. And this year they kind of go into it with a clean slate. I'm sure you're going to have that. I'm sure Steve Kerr is going to get a lot of questions after the games about rotations, why he didn't play this guy as much, why he didn't play that guy over this guy, why Kyle Anderson is starting at small forward as opposed to Jonathan Kuminga. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of those types of questions. But so I do think this team will finish up better off than last year, but that's because I think last year's team was much better than they showed at the end of the season. So,
well, it is hard to say because you never know with the West right now.
No,
I mean, we do this another day, but you can start picking and choosing in the Western Conference which teams are better than the Warriors right now, and it's probably a good deal of them. Like people forget, like the Memphis Grizzlies didn't make the playoffs a year ago, and they'll be better with John Morant coming back healthy and no suspension and whatnot. So we'll see. I do not know. I don't have high expectations this season. We'll see if they get marketing. That could change things, but yeah, I haven't been blown away by this offseason for the Warriors.
Wiggins was trash, Ernie said. Yeah.
I don't know about trash. Trash is extreme, especially if you compare trash to Davante Adams, which we'll get to later.
Whoa.
Well, that's what happened with the Chargers social media. Yeah. See,
where did they say that?
That's a tease. We'll get to it. Real quick, I do want to end with this. Steph Curry did a lot of interviews this week. In that same interview with Malika Andrews, he was asked straight up, do you ever think another team's going to have a dynastic run like you guys did with, yourself, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green? And he goes, no, with the way the CBA is and the way that, things happen, the parity in the NBA more and more each season, I don't think that we'll ever see a dynastic run like the Warriors had. And that could be true, but I don't know. If the Nuggets, they lost this year, but they could have easily gone back to back if they won Game 7. I think there's teams that could do it. Maybe the Celtics because the East is so easy. I wouldn't necessarily say that we'll never see a dynastic run like that again. But the likes of which, where they went to 5 straight NBA Finals, that'll be hard to replicate.
I don't think that there will be another dynasty again where the team has won a championship after 40 years, changed everything in the area around sports when at the time it was very Giants heavy, and obviously the 49ers changed things too, but it's really the Warriors have been the top dog in the Bay Area. I don't think you're going to see another franchise have this much of an influence on a certain place, this much of like a cultural impact. I don't know if you're going to. Huh?
What about Denver?
They didn't get to the finals.
Oh, okay, but when they did win, that parade was pretty huge.
Sure.
And if they win more, just no one's going to forget about the Niners in the Bay Area because of the Warriors. But they could be comparable if the Broncos don't have success.
But they didn't make it back to the finals.
I know, man.
They're not a dynasty.
Well, if they win 2 out of 3, I would count that as one.
You count that as a dynasty?
If they win the next
You
2
don't
in
even
a
count
row,
the Giants as a dynasty, winning 3 in 5 years.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
You have to go back in past episodes and search that up.
I've always said that, dude. I count that as a dynasty. I don't necessarily think that you have to win 3 out of 4 or whatever. I think if you win a certain amount, like the Chiefs are a dynasty. That wasn't consecutive. It was 2019 to 2022 to last year.
Right.
So dynasty's a crazy term. I don't know. I don't even know if it's appropriate sometimes the way we use it. But yeah, I think that if the Nuggets win the next 2 championships, then yeah, and then they have a huge influence in the Denver community, I would say that's a huge dynastic run.
It's a massive if.
Well, of course, but that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but we're talking. You're talking about a huge if, and that's why I think it won't be duplicated because of how big that is, how major that it is. I really don't think so. Like
it'll be hard to replicate what the Warriors accomplished. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think there could be dynastic runs. I still think there could be teams that win back-to-back championships or have major success. Like the Celtics, how many Eastern Conferences have they gone to? Now they lost it there a lot, but they could still dominate the East.
Sure, but man, I don't even know if that's going to happen. Like that's why I don't think it will be duplicated, man. Like that's why
fair.
all these teams you're bringing up, they don't have the makings of that. And quite frankly, Jason Tatum, like the Celtics have kind of embarrassed themselves after their finals win. I know they won a championship, but already you got ownership wanting to sell the team after winning their first title. You got Derek White making Team USA over Jaylen Brown. Now Jaylen Brown apparently is posting stuff on social media that's cryptic. You got Jason Tatum, who is copying every celebration in the book without being original.
Yeah, but does that have to do anything with basketball, though?
No, but it has to do. I think a lot of Celtics fans are probably like,
They don't give a shit, man. They just watched their team win for the first time since 2008.
Sure. But I think in the long run, like they're not going to be as beloved as, say, the New England Patriots. The Patriots changed that city and changed that area.
Okay, well, let's be real
the
too.
Celtics have already had their dynasty, right?
No, I get that.
Are talking. They had the Bird. They had they had all of that. The Koozie, the Bill Russell. They had all of that. They already had their moment. The Warriors didn't have that, and really, a team didn't have that so much since the Niners back in the 80s and 90s.
Okay,
but like you haven't really had that too much with basketball, and I don't even think the Giants really changed that much of the Bay Area, but the Warriors, like I haven't seen anything like that with the Warriors, man.
No, I mean the Warriors definitely changed things, but I would also be real. If the Niners won the Super Bowl, I think that would trump anything that the Warriors did parade-wise, or football's a different animal.
You and your football stuff, man.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Look at Klay. Look at that video of him on Main Street, on Market Street in the middle of San Francisco. I know there's going to be a lot of Niners stuff, but even so, like, I don't think they're going to have as much of a cultural impact as the Warriors on a variety of levels.
If the Niners won the Super Bowl next season, you don't think it would have a bigger impact than any of the Warriors celebrations?
What celebration that we're talking about? Like, we're talking about a team that has legitimately created fans from all over the world.
See, this is where Tacky's with me, or kinda. I agree with Derek, but I refuse to agree with Derek.
All over the world. Like, okay, the celebration's probably going to be big, but as far as worldwide, global stuff,
no. See, this is where you're changing it. I'm talking about locally,
but I'm talking globally now. I didn't even mention that as part of my point. Like they had a
Well,
global
you just-
impact, dude.
Yeah, but you're just changing it now. You're saying that the Warriors had a huge impact on the Bay Area.
And now
Not-
I'm making it even bigger because I realize it's global, dude.
Well, of course,
Global.
basketball is more of a global sport than football.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm talking about here. Like you're saying, like if the Nuggets won again, it would never trump anything that the Broncos accomplished. But I could see the cultural shift happening where more people are going to Nuggets games. People embrace Jokic as the biggest face in that area. And the Broncos are still figuring things out. Like, Bo Nix is not going to be the face of of Denver sports anytime soon, in my opinion. The Rockies are not watchable. So I would say there's a way that could happen the same way that the Warriors change things in the Bay Area. But football will always be bigger, no matter what. I do think that the Warriors were huge and will always be huge while Steph Curry's around. But it pales in comparison to how big the Niners are.
All right.
Do you agree or you disagree with me on that one?
I disagree. Because also you're talking you're also talking one championship. We're talking about this dynasty won't be duplicated. If the 49ers turn into a dynasty and they win back-to-back Super Bowls and then maybe go to 5 straight again and then and win 4 of them, then sure, but that's far away. I don't think anything the Warriors did will ever be replicated. I really don't. There might be a Super Bowl or 2, but 4 championships after a 40-year drought, that ain't gonna be replicated, man.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. It's just the Warriors' impact was great, but I still think the Niners are. I mean, they're still the number 1 team in my opinion in the Bay Area. While Steph may be the biggest draw as far as an individual, but I still think if the Niners won a championship here, it would be a bigger, like it would encompass more of the Bay Area than just like people do love basketball here, and it changed obviously, but football is different. I think that you would see more of an impact.
Well, that's just one championship, though.
No, I know, but even if it's just one championship, I do think like. You got to know Klay Thompson better. You got to know Steph Curry better. You got to know Draymond Green better. For basketball, it's more of a star-driven sport, so we got to know these guys. With the 49ers, there's not really anybody like no one's like, hey, I want to party with Brock Purdy. I think it would just be like as far as like what the Niners have meant over time would be bigger than what the Warriors accomplished in that 5-year span. Even more than
God, I think it's a bold statement.
Just because of the longevity, just because of the history with the Niners in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I know, but I still think it's a very bold statement.
All right.
Also bold when you said the Niners aren't going to win next year, or they're probably not getting back. You're like, I don't know about that.
I don't know if they're going to get back. When last dances happen, it's especially when there's divides with contract stuff. But we'll see all about that. Real quick before we get to talking about football. Speaking of the Warriors, I watched the second to last episode of Clipped. Have you even started this series, Steven?
I'm not even gonna. No.
By all means, I will be the guy that talks about this show on the podcast. Good God, there was a scene in the second to last episode that I watched where the Clippers beat the Warriors in the series. They win Game 7, and Chris Paul goes past the Warriors locker room and says, better luck next year, guys. And then Draymond Green and Steph Curry come out of the locker room looking all menacing, being like, oh, yeah? Well, you guys tap dance for your owner, huh? You guys weren't going to do shit until we stepped up. It's like, oh, it's like that, huh? And they have a huge brawl. And I'm like, who thinks this actually happened? Who thinks that this fucking happened? This is ridiculous. Steph Curry's fighting Chris Paul. Fuck out of here. This show is like just the most ridiculous bullshit.
All right, yeah, I'll go watch it now. Yeah, good rap.
By the way, I saw that FX in the same kind of style greenlit a Aaron Hernandez series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Josh Andres Rivera.
It's going to play Aaron Hernandez?
Yes, let's take a look at this guy. Who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is.
I've seen enough of, between the Patriots show on Apple TV and the Netflix special, I've seen enough of Aaron Hernandez stuff.
Yeah,
He's going to have to get built. He seems a little skinny.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
All
right.
I'm sure that'll be a great show.
Who's playing Belichick?
I don't know. Maybe
Patton Oswalt.
maybe his 24-year-old girlfriend's dad is an actor or something.
You just wanted to sneak that in there.
Yeah.
All right. And I would love to see who'd be a great Robert Kraft. Let's have a goofy, just Martin Short for whatever reason. Just play Robert Kraft.
I think he'd be a good Robert Kraft.
You just you could do the Jiminy Glick hair. Just be like, now why would you do that, Aaron? Why would you go out and kill people? All right.
You star tight end. You just committed double murder. Why?
Now why would you do that? I love Jiminy Glick. That stuff used to make me
Dude, he's kind of had a renaissance with that because he did a clip with Bill Hader. I watched it 16 different times. It's amazing. So
he did what on what show?
It was on I think it was on Jimmy Fallon or one of the Jimmys.
Yeah. It was Martin Short as Jiminy Glick.
Yes.
Nice. God,
Yes.
the character was fantastic.
He interviewed Bill Hader and it was awesome. Bill Hader's such a
was he cracking up the whole time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Bill Hader has the best laugh and the most fucking I'm laughing. I'm gonna ruin this. Whatever.
Because he's kind of like a nerd in a way.
Yeah.
So a nerdy kind of theater movie guy. So
yeah,
all that stuff, he's so into comedy. Yeah. I think he was watching someone who was probably one of his, not his hero, but someone he definitely watched when he was still a PA.
Yeah, I never got annoyed with Bill Hader laughing during SNL. It was Jimmy Fallon that annoyed the crap out of me, though, because it made me just because I thought he was less talented.
Well, Bill Hader didn't laugh in every single skit either.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He was more professional. But there were times where the Californians where he would just crack up. It was yeah, fuck it. We're all laughing.
Yeah. How can you not?
Okay, so the Netflix show Receiver is out now. Haven't seen an episode yet. Actually, going to wait until I fly to Florida so I can just download them all on my phone and just watch them while I do a red eye. But yeah, different style than a year ago. It was the quarterback show, which took the sports world by storm. Everybody was watching it this time of year. Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, and this year they changed it up. I guess they couldn't get quarterbacks that were interested in doing the show, so they got wide receivers. And it's Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Davante Adams. And a lot of these guys have been doing media appearances. George Kittle was on Rich Eisen today, and Davante Adams went on the Kay Adams show, Up and Adam, and was talking about the show. Talked about Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that clip a little bit later, but I want to play this one because Davante has had some interesting sound clips since he's become a Raider. Can't forget 2 years ago where he called Derek Carr a Hall of Famer. And he talks about how he wants to call out the Chargers social media team for their recent schedule release. So, Steven, if you have that clip, let's watch Davante Adams call out the Chargers social media team.
It was a little trend a little bit ago where, a few of the social media pages were posting some funny stuff of, when the schedule was releasing. So they posted me and then a trash can or something like that. The Chargers did. So I thought about responding on social media to it and being funny there, but I figured it'd be better to, just beat their head in real life and continue doing it the way, because my first game against them, I don't know, they clearly forgot.
Yeah,
it was
you
10 catches, 41 yards and a touchdown. And then the next time that same year, it was 177 yards and, 2 touchdowns. I think it was that game. So I just wanted to kind of remind them what they've been going through as it pertains to playing against me. And hopefully the people that made that post, because it's not the players' fault. They didn't have anything to do with the posts, but this is directed strictly toward the Chargers social media page. Please keep my name out your mouth and show some.
Are you in this new era where you're
Okay. All right.
So, and I love Kay Adams the whole time. Oh my God, this is spicy. This is gonna get me clicks.
Yeah.
I think Davante's a great wide receiver, and I'm not thinking too much about this. I think this is kind of tongue in cheek, but especially the keep my name out your mouth thing. Everybody says that now after Will Smith. What's the whole context of this? Because I remember the Chargers. The schedule release was them making fun of every opponent, and the photo was it was a Pop-Tart in the trash. So that's what they were comparing the Raiders to, was trash.
Right.
I don't think it was necessarily Davante. I think it was a black and white Pop-Tart. They were doing like Pop-Tart flavors for every team that they were playing. And the
This
trash
year?
ones were
No.
the Raiders.
Not this
No.
year. No,
Well,
it's a Sims game.
No. It was separate from the Sims game. It was like they did two different things where it was the Sims video,
Oh.
but the opponents were like, let's tweet out what flavor each opponent would be. And the Raiders one was black and white trash.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, if that motivates him, great.
I don't think they were calling Davante trash. I think they were just calling I think it was a player that they profiled next to what that Pop-Tart flavor would be. And yeah, cool. Like this is the most motivated I've seen Davante Adams be a Raider in quite some time. So that's the positive I took away.
Yeah.
But for him to be like, fuck the Chargers social media team, I'm like, it's just a bunch of nerds, man. Like, who cares?
Yeah, well, they are the best part of that franchise because the Chargers, no offense to my guy Lowe, but they are not who they used to be when he was on their team. That currently is a loser franchise who can't get out of their own way, and even after Phillip Rivers left, they still suffer from the same things. That embarrassment against the Jacksonville Jaguars, like they can never live that down. So the Chargers social media team does a good job, and this I think is kind of emblematic of what social media does. It's doing a really good job of masking the fact that the actual team stinks.
Yeah.
AKA, like a lot of people get popular through social media, writing out all these cool tweets, these funny comebacks, where in real life, like when you meet them in person, they're totally different and not great people. Social media giving you the wrong impression of who they actually are. And this is exactly what the Chargers are doing. The Chargers are an embarrassment to the NFL. So at least Davante Adams has that.
Yeah, I hear you. I think
Look at
actually could
fans.
be.
Their fan base. They don't have any fans. They have to move in with the stadium with the Rams. They can't get anyone to come to maybe the most beautiful city in the United States in San Diego. Sad.
Man, I'm waiting for our guy Evan to pop up in here and call you out for all the shit you're talking right now.
Well, you know, Evan's Evan. He's probably gonna have a very smart, well thought out, methodical comeback where he uses some terrific metaphors and big words that I don't understand because he's a very smart guy and I love him. But yeah, they're trash, and he knows that. He knows that. He knows that.
No, I think they'll be better this season with Harbaugh. I do. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I think they'll be improved. But yeah, I thought that was just funny. Although I will say this: anything that the Chargers social media team has done doesn't infuriate me like the ad I saw years ago as a kid. So when my dad was calling a Raiders-Chargers game in San Diego, I flew with him to San Diego, and watching TV in the hotel room before we went to the game, there was an ad, a local ad in San Diego. And if Raider fans know about this, I mean, this pissed me off because it's disrespectful on many levels. They show B-roll of families locking up their houses, closing their gates, locking their cars. And then you see print on the screen that goes, "Be safe this week. The Raiders are in town." And I thought, that's some bullshit. What does that mean? What does that mean? That the fans are just a bunch of delinquents? Huh? Or come and rob you? Yeah, probably, but fuck you. I hated that commercial. If Raider fans don't know what I'm talking about, that used to be an ad that ran in San Diego that was extremely disrespectful.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I hated that. Do you have the other clip of Davante Adams saying that his BFF from the Packers is still pining over him?
All everywhere we watches in his grill. All right, give me 1 second. Hang on. All right. All right, here we go with another clip from Up and Adams via FanDuel TV.
Our boys, a lot of love for each other. You went to the Derby together.
Wait, hang on. Go to the beginning of the clip. All right.
You two are boys, a lot of love for each other. You went to the Derby together. We see the pictures on the Instagram. Are you telling me he's not getting in your ear and saying, "Hey, I want to play with you again"?
Oh, he's in that ear, that's for sure. he's in the ear, but you know, it's not as easy as it. You know, obviously we can get together and talk about the old times and potential of doing this and that. But like I said, I'm a Raider, so and he knows that. So we'll maybe the next.
Hell yeah, Davante. Hell yeah. See, this is the and it's annoying that Aaron Rodgers is still doing that, but whatever, I get that. You're always going to have recruitment like that. It's not tampering when it's amongst players, but this is the most positive I've seen Davante be in quite some time to be a Raider. And maybe it's because of Antonio Pierce. We'll see how the season goes, but I'm kind of liking this Davante.
Do you sound confident to you?
Not confident, but just like I'm a Raider. Where a year ago,
sounded like he's sad about his decision.
I don't know if it's would you say he's sad, Steven?
Well,
like
it's sad. That's a bad word to use, but you know, I need the Evan dictionary.
Crestfallen?
Yeah, yeah. Just dejected. That's the word I'd use. He seems dejected talking about where he's at now.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like he understands it's hard to get traded to the Jets and he's not requesting it by any means. But I don't know. This Raiders defense better pick up a lot of the slack because I don't think the quarterback play is going to be very good. And I think by the trade deadline, they're going to be looked at as sellers at the deadline because they have such a low win total. They're out of the playoff picture. It could happen. I mean, they could get some surprise wins in there, but I don't see them as like a playoff team. And I could see a lot of teams gunning for Davante Adams, trying to get him on their squad.
I don't doubt that could happen, but damn, you're that low on them this year, huh?
As I look at it, yeah. I mean, we talk about the NBA and the Warriors and the West changing. Just look at the AFC. It's like it's nonstop, dude.
No, I hear you. I don't think they're going to be. I mean, I don't know what I felt about them a year ago. I think they could be a better team going into the season than what I expected a year ago. But I don't know if they have a better record. I think the defense will be good. The quarterback position is definitely less than desired. So, but okay, just bear with me here. Like Davante a year ago was doing articles talking about how he wasn't thrilled about Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's a complete, 180 from where he was pretty audible and being unhappy. Then now he's like, I'm a Raider, and I got my coach. He's got his wide receiver coach from Green Bay with him. Is the quarterback position not fantastic? Yeah, but I think he's just a little more hopeful this year.
I think he also likes not having Josh McDaniels around. Getting a guy like Antonio Pearson who can connect with the players as opposed to creating his own personal head coaching bubble in his office. Like I think he's much more excited to do that. From that standpoint, but at the end of the day, I am glad Davante's happy, but I was saying that last year. I'm like, you got to keep Davante happy with whatever you're going to do in this upcoming draft with your quarterback. And now you stuck him with Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. Great people, great dudes, it seems like, but are they the caliber of quarterback that can win you some games and win Davante Adams some games? Or is Davante going to be like, look, the teams come calling and they want to make a trade? Tell them I'm up for it. Like, what if that happens? God, that would suck.
I mean, I could see the quarterback position frustrating him. And And that's why the timing of this Netflix show is going to be interesting, because out of anyone on the show that had the most frustrations a year ago, it was Davante, because there were games where he was getting 2 catches, and they were winning games too. They were winning games 17-13 against the Packers and these low-scoring games. But Davante voiced his displeasure. So I wonder, out of anybody on this show that comes across disgruntled, it's probably going to be Davante. So I haven't heard anything yet. The show just came out today. I'm going to watch it while I'm on vacation. And I think me and Alon will discuss it next podcast we do on Sunday, because Steven's going to be too busy boozing. But yeah, I wonder how he comes across in this thing, because things have changed. Maybe he becomes a little lighter towards the end because Antonio Pierce is there. But when the show starts off, it could be rough for Davante.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have the same. You're not going to have the same dynamic as you had in the quarterback series, where you had one in Mahomes, who's a champ. You had one in Kirk Cousins, who just wants himself a ring and is a good old family man. And you had that same thing with Marcus Mariota, except he just didn't care about football, or he didn't seem to care about football as much as you should as a starting quarterback on an NFL team, though he is a backup. Yeah, this receivers one's going to be a little different. A lot of those guys, maybe the only one would maybe be like, I don't want to say Debo. Maybe there's one situation where Debo talks about that offseason. That one contract standoff. Maybe you'd get a hint of that, but I haven't seen anything out of the show except the one that's been circulating is Davante didn't like Jimmy G. Like that's a lot what a lot of people are gathering from the show.
Yeah, I saw there's one clip where he's arguing, not arguing, but he's basically telling Jimmy that he adjusted the route to the right thing and Jimmy still couldn't deliver to him. And that, along with, I guess, him and Max Crosby wore the same outfit to a game twice. That's what I've seen so far.
Was he unhappy about that?
It wasn't like a thing where he was upset. I haven't watched it, but I just saw aggregators putting out not only did Davante and Max Crosby wear the same outfit once during the season, but they wore it twice without even knowing.
Aw.
Yeah, it's
synergy.
See? They're a tight-knit group.
I do, but I will say, I obviously don't think they're going to be a very good team this year, but when you hear Max Crosby talk or you hear Antonio Pierce talk, those guys are really good with delivering. Yeah, with delivering, you just think, my God, man, anyone who's playing on that defense alongside Max Crosby won't have any choice but to go all out. I do think that his attitude permeates the locker room, but at the end of the day, it's the quarterback that's the issue. And if Aiden O'Connell's that guy, all right. I know Davante said that Aiden O'Connell's probably the QB1 right now. If you had to put a label on it, he also said that on Up and Adams.
Interesting,
but still doesn't inspire much confidence.
Yeah. We'll see about that whole thing. Speaking of quarterbacks, Dion was interviewed today. I guess the Big 12 Media Day was held in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they asked him straight up, what do you think of Antonio Pierce as head coach of the Raiders? He goes, no, I love Antonio. Can't wait we're going to have a meeting with the Raiders later today. And I was like, what? And then he says, I would love for Shador and what's his other son's name? I forget it. But they're starting that already with Shador possibly being a Raider. Listen, Colorado won 4 games last year. Let's not act like this kid's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't know about that.
Dion is reveling in the fame that he's got right now. He doesn't care whether he wins or loses. He loves the attention. He loves
Well, he wants to win.
Sure, but I think he loves the attention.
Well, he's always loved the attention. But
yeah,
he wants to. I don't think Dion's phony. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to mold young men. But I don't want him negotiating with the Raiders and being like, my sons want to play here, and I can't envision if this is going to be turned into a thing where Dion is dictating, Shador, he's not going to go to this team. We refused to go to that team. I'm going to be out on that. Like that's going to be really annoying.
I think you know what I think he should do if he is presenting his son to the Raiders. You know what he should do? Get on a big screen and bring back the NFL Network prime time top 10. And then just do the top 10 of Shadur's like
number 4.
Yeah. Number 10. Hey, watch out. There's a Sanders coming through. And like, you know, that kind of thing.
My baby, Devin Hester.
I always remember there was like there's one where he did Aaron Rodgers. He said, watch out, Chicago. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Oh, he liked that. And then I remember what else he used to do. He used to do for Cam Newton. Cam. Whoa, Cam. And then his name is Russell. What's his last name? Last name Wilson. He used to just sing all the time. He used to have Snoop Dogg in the theme song. Bet you're ready. I bet you're ready. Oh, it's 21st and prime.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I can't. Well, you know what? I mean, Dion could always, go coach an NFL team and then draft his own son. Kind of like what
look at this Oregon D line taking advantage of my O line. All those guys have sent off to other schools. My son's the best.
Yeah.
Prime time.
Speaking of which, we were talking about Bronny before we started the podcast.
Oh.
Steven's already over what's going to happen this NBA season with all the notifications.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm over it. I've turned off Bleacher Report push notifications. They're done. Sorry.
Bleacher Report. Ugh.
Yeah. They're push notifications. I'm out on them. I got one that said LeBron watching Bronny while Team USA warms up. And then the next one, Bronny scores 3 points in Summer League. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on Bleacher Report. Turning off your notifications. I'm sorry. I like your publication. I like your website. I think the app's done very well. But push notifications, turning it off. Turn it off. If you're going to send me Bronny James 3 points in Summer League.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you on that one.
To quote KD, sickening.
That was Katie's reaction to guys that can't spin a ball on their finger. Let's do a little quick Raider reflections. Can take you back to April 2007. I was 16 years old, and the Raiders had the number 1 pick in the draft. And my dad was going to go to Radio City Music Hall and wanted me to join him. So I flew out there, and we were all prepared for Jamarcus Russell to be taken number 1 in the 2007 NFL Draft after the Raiders had an abysmal 2-14 season. And a lot of talk about, should the Raiders draft Jamarcus? Is it better to get Calvin Johnson, who seemed like the more ready-made pro? And in the end, the question was, well, who's going to throw to Calvin Johnson? So they went with Jamarcus Russell. Dal Davis was always going to go with the bigger, stronger, the guy that could throw the ball deep down the field. And, all the combine stuff, all the pre-draft workouts, everybody said it was the greatest, pro day they've ever seen in their life. He could throw from his knees. Everybody said he was amazing. And then, I remember him getting drafted and my dad walking up to him and being like, "Welcome to the Raiders." And Jamarcus thought he was a coach, and that was all awkward. And it all just went downhill. It was terrible. Jamarcus held out of training camp because he wanted a big contract. This was the days where there was no salary cap or rookie cap, so guys could sign ridiculous amounts of money. And Jamarcus Russell signed a contract at the time in 2007 that was more than what Tom Brady was making. Nevertheless, Jamarcus was late to camp, didn't start the season, was terrible in his career. We all know what happened. He got lazy, he got fat, he did too much, purple drink. And then the Raiders cut him, 2010?
Yep.
Yeah, before that season. So there's no doubt in my mind, I could say this, and I think we all could agree, Ryan Leaf was a bust, but Jamarcus Russell is by far the biggest bust of all time.
Correct.
And I think a year ago, Steven, he went on the pivot with Ryan Clark and was talking about how he was never given a fair chance, and how could the Raiders do this to me? How could they, the whole story about how they gave me blank, DVD tapes. They were trying to make me look like an idiot. And my whole thing was, well, they were right though. They were right. You didn't watch them. That's the whole point, Jamarcus. And he tried to get like a sob story going, and then you see recently this shit. Do you see what happened with Jamarcus recently, Steven?
I did.
This is embarrassing. Jamarcus was working as an assistant coach for his alma mater in Williamson High School in, I believe, Alabama. Could be wrong about that, but I think that's where the high school is located. And Jamarcus was going to donate $74,000. Then, to come to find out, he didn't. He took the check back. And now the school is suing him. I'm sorry, I know a lot of things have happened to Jamarcus since that time, and his story is somewhat sad. It's not like, there's other sad stories in football. Jamarcus just didn't live up to potential, and that's fine. Go off and do something else in life. But this is a, jackass of the week territory for me. This is to take back the check that you wrote for $74,000 to your own goddamn high school. The whole story of Jamarcus Russell is just so sad. And just how he didn't live up to expectations. He never did anything really after he got done with football. No one signed him after he was cut. And now this thing, to steal money back from your school is just awful to me.
I remember we talked about the Chargers. I think the one time I remember thinking, ooh, maybe they got something here. Maybe they could turn this around was back in, I think it was week 4 when they hosted the San Diego Chargers and they wore the whites with those old school grays, gray numbers. And he threw a 63-yard bomb to Zach Miller. And I thought all was right in the world. And they ended up losing that game, specifically in the second half, giving up 25 points in the fourth quarter. and lost the game. From that point on, kind of knew it was over. The story's not sad to me. This is just a guy who had a chance, you know what's crazy? I don't know why I did this, but I had this thought because I was just alone in my thoughts when thinking about how we critique athletes and all this sort of stuff. And it is wild when you think about how many people there are in the world and how many people actually get the opportunities that some of these guys get. A very tiny percentage, 99.9% of people don't have this opportunity. I mean, maybe a little less than that, but still, to be the number 1 overall pick and to get paid, like you mentioned, more money than Tom Brady, the greatest of all time on that rookie deal. With everything that happened in training camp, to just blow that opportunity. And then 10 years later, go on the podcast and kind of blame everyone. Look, I'd like to think that I'm an empathetic person, right? But when I heard that, I was at first, and then I thought to myself, you know what, dude? Take some accountability. You had this once in a lifetime opportunity and you wasted it. And now look what's happening. I don't consider it sad. I think this is just a story of a guy who didn't understand just what he had in life and didn't appreciate it, and he blew it. So I don't feel sorry for him one little bit. And then you hear these stories. Obviously, these ones went viral, like Kirk Morrison when he was on the Rich Eisen show. Shout out to the Rich Eisen show. Truth or a lie? Is this truth or a lie? Is this fact or fiction? Did you, in fact, improv every line on Step Brothers, Will Ferrell? This is Kirk Morrison on the Rich Eisen show giving stories on Jamarcus Russell.
Where we just knew, Jamarcus Russell was how is this guy supposed to lead our franchise? So every year there's what we've seen rookie shows, correct? Remember that?
Right.
Remember the rookie show is hey, all the rookies go up there and you do a skit or whatever it may be.
Sure.
So I remember that Jamarcus Russell wasn't a part of the rookie show because he held out. Remember, he held out the entire training camp.
Right.
So here we are getting ready for the 2007 season. We don't have our first overall pick because he's holding out. And then finally, they get the deal done, one of the richest deals in history. He's, the big bonus and all of that. And so, we're like, hey, Jamarcus, you got to have a rookie show. You got to have a rookie show. All right. So I remember the day he comes up, he walks in, and he has his backpack. And I'm like, all right, what kind of skit is he going to do? Here's our quarterback of the future. What is he going to do? And so we're all sitting there like, we can't wait. We're kind of on our, on the edge. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? And I remember he pulls out, I would say at least $5,000 in ones in cash and literally made the entire meeting room rain. I mean, he threw dollars on. I mean, it was just flooded.
Gosh.
I didn't even look back at what the coaches were doing. I was just the one picking up all the money. I was like,
Dude, it's just one example.
Wow. I never heard that part of it. I know the DVD story, but yeah, wow. That's something. So that's your talent, is just throwing around money. And I want to sorry,
the DVD
go ahead,
thing. The DVD thing is another. I don't even know when that one's even worse to me.
Yeah, the DVD one is bad. And yes, Ernie too. Is Kirk wearing an A's hat in a Giants jersey? Yes, he. I remember that was like baseball opening weekend, and he refused to say that he was an A's fan or a Giants fan. Which, come on, Kirk. We love Kirk, Bay Area guy, but pick a side. I want to clarify the story. This is what actually happened. A local business owner, Chris Knowles, wrote a $74,000 check saying Russell approached him about a donation to help with Williamson football team to purchase a weight room. The school allegedly never received the check, and Russell reportedly deposited it in a credit union and promptly withdrew $55,000 of it. God damn, man. That's bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, interesting question from Tacky. Derek, out of every celebrity you've met personally, who would you want to punch in the face? That's a tough question to answer, Tacky, but I'll give you a satisfying answer. Of all the celebrities that I've met, they probably want to punch me in the face. How you like that, Tacky? So yeah, Jamarcus not sounding good these days.
No, man, I don't. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story about when I flew from Houston to Oakland and he was on the flight with me?
No.
Was flying from Houston, was still living in Houston, and went to go see my dad. Went to the Bay Area. It was Raider season. And I remember going on a Southwest flight, and it was Christmas time. So on the, I was in the A group, got on the plane, and I saw Jamarcus Russell. And I was like, holy shit, what's he doing flying back to Oakland? And I saw that the row that he was sitting in was completely empty. So I was like, do I dare sit on the aisle seat next to the window seat of Jamarcus? So I went to go, because I was like, all right, and I'm wearing Raider shit, and I was going to go sit next to him. And then one of his boys in his posse grabs me and goes, nah, keep walking.
Oof.
Yeah. Because he knew what I was going to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on his part.
Yeah. Hey, I can't blame him. Can't blame him for that one.
I think, yeah. I totally understand.
To answer your question, Tacky, I would have punched Jamarcus's buddy in the face.
Yeah. Nice.
But he was much bigger than me, so I wasn't going to fuck with him.
Yeah. No doubt. If I had to choose one, I wasn't asked the question, but I'm gonna inject myself into this question. What a weird way to phrase that. It'd be Darren McFadden, because one time him and Michael Bush were signing autographs at a mall, and old D-Mac on his phone the entire time, on his flip phone, texting. I went up to Michael Bush, signed the hat, went to Darren McFadden. He was on the phone the entire time. At the same time on the phone, just kind of didn't even look at me. The pen on the hat, he did the thing, and the rest is history. Just kidding. I wouldn't punch Darren McFadden in the face. I got that wood. No one knows that. No one that isn't used enough in my opinion.
NFL films?
Not the NFL films, but like his time from Arkansas.
I got that wood.
Yeah, Darren McFadden. I got that wood, baby. When
I remember
when he
Him
was
and
with,
Felix Jones
hang on.
and Peyton Hillis.
Hang on. It was after he won the Houston Nutt and Darren McFadden. After they won the what is it? It's like a
Coach, you come into back.
I don't even know what it is, but here's Darren McFadden, courtesy of CBS.
Baton Rouge and you knock off the #1 team in the country. How did you do it tonight?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, I know this. Got a lot of guys with some big hearts. All I know is for 3 hours. For 3 hours or however long, maybe 4 hours, we're the best team in the country today. And it's offense, defense, and special teams. It's some guys like Darren McFadden, baby. What an effort. Y'all better put him in the Heisman. You better put him up there. I'm tired of him being number 4.
We got that wood right here, baby.
Somebody better look at the best football player in the country, and his name's not being mentioned. Lou Holtz, Mark May, number 5. You better look at him a little closer. He's a football player.
Got that wood right here.
Darren, did you one for your coach?
It was just a great feeling to come out here playing the #1 team in the nation. You know, our coach, he's been through some ups and downs this whole season. It was just a great feeling to win for him. I got that wood, and that's how you pronounce it. Ain't Arkansas, it's Arkansas, baby.
How about with the talk and the
I was just hoping Tracy would be like, well, there you have it. He's got wood.
I got that wood, baby. That's not played enough. That's not played enough in the lore of great press conferences.
No, I totally forgot about that one. But I do remember that game. They beat #1 LSU. Steven, real quick, before we get to pop culture catch-up, some Bay Area representation in the All-Star game. There has to be representation from every team. But 2 Giants All-Stars. No surprise, Mason Miller from the A's gets selected. But Elliot Ramos and Logan Webb, were you surprised?
No, because Elliot Ramos has been the best center fielder in the National League. Just look up the numbers. Maybe not voted there, maybe not voted among the top outfielders, but if you look at the statistics, every single one of his stats, whether it's average, on base percentage, slugging, obviously in turn the OPS because it combines the two, the home runs, like he's been better than every center fielder in the National League. So I absolutely thought it would have been a snub to keep him out. And then Logan Webb, kind of a surprise, but
yeah.
And especially coming off this start, but God, he's been so damn good. And luckily wins and losses aren't really used to gauge pitchers anymore. But I think it was absolutely well-deserved for both of them. And you look at the other National League starters too. I mean, you can't not put Logan Webb in there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just judging by the KNBR Giants fans, a lot of them were kind of like, maybe Logan Webb gets it, maybe not. Kind of made it on just popularity these days. But Elliot Ramos definitely deserved it. So good to see that he's getting his All-Star nod, even though he left us hanging on the show today.
It's a shame.
I know. Hey, he'll be on Friday, hopefully. I was going to bring up something else, but I forget. Oh well.
I got that wood.
Oh, what do you think? What did you think of Blake Snell last night? Real quick, best outing so far.
Yeah, but
5 innings.
I don't know, 5 innings, 1 hit. Yeah, it was his best outing, but need something to build off of because he did look. He was very much around the zone yesterday, which I liked. He's not known as like an accurate pitcher by any means. He does get that pitch count up, but his numbers were like historically bad for his career. So to see him get that, that was big. And to be honest, even before he came along, like since really the rise of Twitch streams and stuff, ever since I saw him rapping the lyrics to Andre Nicotina while he's just playing MLB The Show on Twitch, ever since I saw that clip, kind of taken a liking to him. And he's a really funny dude. And whenever I've seen like these post-game interviews, it's just, he's so just not himself. He's just like, it was all right. it's cool, and
Yeah.
I felt good, but I just want to be better next time, and all that stuff. Last night, it actually seemed like he was pretty happy to speak, and I don't know. I was glad to see that because I think he's a personality. Personally, I don't think a lot of Giants fans understand like who he really is in terms of his personality. I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to call out the media here because I'm part of it that goes to the games, but I don't think they did a great job like capturing who he actually is as a person.
Well, I mean, he hasn't shown it though because he hasn't really had a good performance yet to let the personality kind of fly.
Not really, and I just don't think we've really seen that yet. We've seen it a little bit on Giants social media stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just good to see him in more of a cheerful mood. I'll say that.
Alrighty. Pop culture catch up time.
Mm-hmm.
I got quite a bit today. But I'll let you start, Steven. Anything that you've seen recently or read or listened to, whatever.
Well, I got to be honest. I went down this weird Jaws rabbit hole.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why I did.
So you been watching all the Jaws movies?
No, I've just gone on YouTube, watched a couple of clips. There's a documentary on the making of Jaws.
Okay.
Because I'm terrified of Jaws. All right. Quick story. One time went to Universal Studios when I was 12, 13 years old. This is very embarrassing. Went on the ride, the studio tour ride, and that ride that has Jaws.
Yeah.
Pop.
It's the Universal tour, I want to say.
Yes. And they're the studio tour. And again, maybe 13. I think I was 12. But you'll see a photo of me and Jaws in the background. Great photo, right? I'm kind of leaning back because I'm right at the edge. Shark's going by me. Next photo, I'm tearing up. I'm like crying because of Jaws.
Yeah.
No one cries on Jaws. No one does that. All right. It's a fake shark. But I'm terrified of it. And since then, I've had this weird obsession because I think the movie is fantastic. And I think what the movie captures, the feelings of not knowing how terrifying it is, and the fact that the shark's really not shown until like the final half hour of the movie. I think it's just such a masterful piece of film.
Yeah.
So I watched a documentary on the making of it.
Nice.
And pretty interesting.
So how much after that ride did you have to sleep in your parents' bed?
I don't think I did. I just
Really?
just remember crying, and I remember the guy in front of me kind of laughing because he was the same age as I was. He turned around and yeah, embarrassing.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
that would have pissed me off. You think you're better than me, huh? Not crying?
Yeah, turn
Tough
around,
guy.
bozo. All right. Yeah.
Was Ian with you?
Ian was with me. Still makes fun of me for it to this day. Probably going to mention it in his speech at the wedding, if I had to guess.
Can't wait for that.
He is going to use that as an opportunity to roast, not as an opportunity to congratulate me on my life's achievements. No, he's just going to use it to tell the world embarrassing stories. But yeah, I watched the documentary, and one of the things that stood out was Richard Dreyfuss. For lack of a better way to say it, he's just like, look, we were at Martha's Vineyard. We were Hollywood. Okay. A lot of girls there. And I partook in quite a bit of sex. Richard Dreyfuss, dude.
Yeah. Dr. What's his name? And What About Bob?
Yeah. Yeah. And,
I love the fact that he's like, look, Dreyfuss got down. Okay.
like they're the studio guys, they were like, yeah, we were getting a lot of alcohol, and we had some good times. And then Richard Dreyfuss is just like, I partook in a lot of sex. I was in my 20s. I was an actor. Just got done with my first Hollywood movie. Yeah, the girls were there. So apparently the cast had a very good time, while Steven Spielberg and a couple of the writers on the screenplay were just stressing the entire time over how they were going to be, because it was like a day-to-day thing. It's actually crazy. The financial aspect of it, I think they were way over budget. And if you like took it to inflation, I think it was like I forgot what it was, like a $10 million budget or something like that. And it was increased to 40 because of the amount of days they had to shoot. And if you took that for inflation or something, I could be wrong on this, so don't fact check me, all the opiners. But like, that's basically saying you took like a $30 million movie and instead had to spend 150 on it, or somewhere in that range, or 120 on it. Like, damn, dude. So I don't know.
Back to the Richard Dreyfuss having partaken in a lot of sex. The goofball in me would have loved to have been like, yeah, I mean, everybody's getting laid, even Jaws, and then they show like a show, like a black and white photo of Jaws just humping.
Lindsay. South Park reference.
There you go.
So anyway, that's what I watched.
Nice.
Haven't really watched much since.
Was Shark Week that prompted this at all by chance?
No, I think I just something popped up on YouTube that showed the Robert Shaw scene where they're like where they're the USS Indianapolis thing, and then I saw this documentary on there. It was like an hour and 23 minutes. You can find it on YouTube. I think Ernie said, where can we see this doc? Yeah, you can just search up Jaws documentary on YouTube. I think there's one called like the Sharks Still Working. Not that one. It's the other one. It's like an hour and 23 minutes, but it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay. So I finished finally Peaky Blinders. And I gotta say, if I didn't know that there was going to be a movie, I would be disappointed.
Really?
Because, and not to spoil anything, but like, you kind of want a little finality with something. And I understand when there's going to be a movie made. But if there was no movie, it would be very Sopranos-esque, in my opinion. Because there's a lot is not answered. And a big, kind of twist at the end that, makes Thomas Shelby do something else. I'm trying to be nice to all the opiners out there. But, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting ending. But definitely wanted me. I was feeling like I wanted more, and thank God there's going to be a movie. But if there wasn't one made, then I think this ending would have been kind of lazy.
All right, I haven't seen the end of Peaky Blinders, man.
Oh, well, never mind then.
I love the show. I loved it. There's no reason I haven't finished it. It's just because there's just so many damn shows. Like Tacky asked if we watched Baby Reindeer, and it's like I want to.
I've heard about that, but I heard that show's pretty weird.
I want to. I want to watch it, but still, just there's too much to do. So little time, so much to do. Even though I have a time to watch a Jaws documentary, but Baby Reindeer is one of those ones that Jesse wants to watch, and we also got to watch Sons of Anarchy. We've been stuck on this season 2 season finale, or season 3 season finale, whatever it is, for forever, and it's because of me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shows that I need to catch up on. Everybody tells me I need to watch The Bear. I'll probably do that one next. Ernie One asks, thoughts on the Gladiator 2 trailer. I saw it the other day. Look, Gladiator was a good movie. I don't know if I need to see a sequel of it, especially if it's going to be the son of Joaquin Phoenix's character and his... it's his sister, right? His sister. Yeah, it's because he was the uncle. They have like a weird incest thing going on. I would have much rather preferred a prequel to Russell Crowe's character and how he was a war guy than a sequel to Gladiator. And I know, I mean, I love Denzel. Like, I can't wait for Denzel to do his like my man in those times, Roman times. But to play like Jay-Z in the trailer, like that's just not really Gladiator to me. And I know like that's just like a nitpicky thing and everybody's complaining about that online. When they played that, I was like, okay. All right. It's not really Gladiator.
Look, man, all I need is an opening scene where Denzel or anybody really is just walking their hand through some weeds as they walk into their house to a happy family. That's all I need to. I don't know. Gladiator 2 looks cool, but God, Gladiator was just so perfect for its time.
It was.
You know?
Win the crowd. Do you count that as a sports movie?
No.
There are times where I think of it as kind of like you're performing for the crowd, and there's a lot of things you can do to perform for a crowd. But he was kind of like a back then like an athlete. So in a way, yes, but mainly no.
In a really sick way, it's a sports movie. But yeah,
Well, yeah.
It's like, damn, this is a little deep.
Apparently, I remember watching NFL films back in the day of Ray Lewis watched that movie every day before a game. It's a long movie too.
I believe it. I think Josh Norman did too when he was good.
To the Carolina days?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it was just perfect for like Twisters. Twisters is going to be cool, but
yeah,
God, it's just like the time that Twister came out, no one had made a movie like that. Like that's where I'm kind of struggling with movies in this day and age. Like Jaws, for example, that was like, no one had thought about making a movie with like some killer shark that is like a gigantic shark. Like, no one had thought of that at that time, to make something like that that's robotic, to film it in the Atlantic Ocean. No one thought to do that.
Yeah, we're missing originality, Steven. It's been a problem for a long time now in movies.
Like Twister, no one had made a movie like that. That's why Fury Road, I think, was such a big deal, because it's like, oh my God, there's like actually some realism here. It's not just all CGI Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe now that we've moved on from Marvel, we'll be starting to get into that we've never seen this before sort of thing. Even Avatar had some of that with that technology back in the day. But
yeah,
I don't know, like when I'm seeing all this new stuff, it's just, there really is you're right. There's no originality. And by the way, I don't know who runs the events to watch old movies. Saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind in theaters of the other day.
Oh yeah, it was the Richard Dreyfuss again.
Richard Dreyfuss again. It was awesome. It was awesome. Wonder how much sex.
Wonder if he got laid a lot on them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, when Spielberg's around, I get laid.
Mind meld. But yeah, there's a real missed opportunity to not play Twister in theaters with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. There's a real missed opportunity here.
Yeah, I definitely going to watch that again because I haven't seen that movie in quite some time. Probably I'm going to go see that with my mom when I visit her because she was a big fan of Twister back in the day.
Yeah, well, it was the first DVD to come out.
Was it really?
It was the first movie to come out on DVD, and my dad was always really proud to show that off and Top Gun, and he'd do it by way of our surround sound system in our house. I was a very fortunate kid growing up. We had a nice house through the first 13 years of my life, and he was always eager to show off the surround sound system to his friends. So more often than not, Twister. Yeah, it would either be Twister, and you know how many times I've heard Danger Zone because of the beginning of that movie. Yeah, man. So I don't know, and Twister has like that emotional thing for me because obviously my dad used to watch it all the time. So there's the emotional aspect that there is to it, and just you don't see anything like that anymore. And Twisters is going to be, sure, it's going to be good, but it's already been done.
Yeah, I know. The sequel seemed kind of lazy to me. Yesterday, real quick, we had the 20th anniversary of Anchorman. And God, it's crazy to me that movie is 20 years old. And yeah, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but I went to go see that movie with my dad in Colorado. There was he was calling games for the Giants, and there was a rain delay. And I was 13 years old, and I think Dave Fleming was 24. And So I'm hanging out in the booth with them, and they're just waiting for this game if it's going to be called or not. And I remember Dave was like doing talkback with I think KMBR, and he's like on his laptop, and he writes like a message on his piece of paper, slides it to my direction. He goes, "This game gets called. There's an anchor man showing at 10. You in?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So then the game gets called, and he's like, "All right, Greg, Derek, you guys want to go to the movies?" And we all went to go see Anchorman that night, and it was awesome. Leading up to that movie, there wasn't a lot of hype around it. I didn't know what Wet Hot American Summer and all those movies were at the time, so this was in that vein and very goofy. And when we saw it, it was not like anything I was expecting to see. It was just so ridiculous. And at the time, I remember my dad and I just kind of being like, "Yeah, that was goofy, but I don't think it was that amazing." And then as time went on, it became a cult classic. I do think it's one of the most quotable movies of all time, if not the most quotable movie of all time. Because I know there's like Godfather and other movies that people remember, but like I would say 90% of that movie people remember from a quote. So yeah, and people hate the sequel. I love it too, just in its own different way. But Anchorman, one of the funniest films of all time, and I can't believe it's been 20 years.
Yeah. No, it's easily. I mean, it's either that or Step Brothers. Step Brothers for a time was very. I mean, super bad right up there too. But I mean, God, if you had to create a Mount Rushmore of quotable movies, Anchorman would be right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 20 years is crazy.
Oh yeah.
God damn it, dude. And now you think about like where everyone's at in their career. Will Ferrell is kind of trying to revive it. I don't know. Now he's all gray in the hair and just older.
Gonna be John Madden in a movie, apparently.
Ew. And
ew.
Then Steve Carell is I mean, he's just like one of the finest actors of our generation.
I mean, think about all like the stars that that movie like spawned careers for Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, David was it Koechner?
Yeah,
a little bit. People still remember him as Champ Kind, but Christina Applegate was kind of more known as Married with Children, and then she kind of blossomed into her own movie career after that. Like Fred Willard and Chris Parnell, Jack Black, the whole cameos of Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn, Luke Wilson, Tim Robbins. Like it's at the time, like it was just like kind of a fun little comedy that kind of just like birthed like many careers. The whole frat pack of Will Ferrell and Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller. It's a classic, and it definitely, like, I know people in the chat are like, how Greg didn't like it? Like he quotes it all the time. And when we first saw it, I don't think we really understood like what it really was. It was just so goofy. And then as time went on, it was a staple in my house. Like we watched it all the time. My sisters and I will watch it. My little brother will watch it with me. My dad then grew to love it. John Lund loved it. So they quote it all the time. It's part of their show, Afternoon Delight. So yeah, it's a classic. There's no other way to describe it.
That's how a lot of those Will Ferrell movies were at first. I remember thinking that same thing about Talladega Nights.
Yep.
I don't think I even saw Anchorman in theaters. I don't think I did, but I saw Talladega Nights in theaters, and I remember watching it the first time thinking, whatever. And then you watch it again, and you're like, ooh, that was funny. I gotta watch this again. And then you do it again, and then again. Yeah, man, just right at the heart of kind of that golden age of comedy. My God.
Yeah.
It was just perfect for its time. And I don't know, that was kind of when R-rated movies were starting to make way into the comedy realm, kind of the unrated cuts. You remember that? They used to have the unrated versions.
Oh, dude, I remember going to the Best Buy to go buy the movie for my family, and I remember they only had the unrated available, and I was like, I don't want the unrated. I want the one I can show my whole family. They're like, this is the only version we have, man.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're doing unrated.
Yeah. My parents didn't let me watch unrated movies at first.
Yeah. I mean, unrated was basically just like the R-rated cut, or like, like I've seen the unrated version of 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's just like extra jokes that they didn't put in the original one.
Right.
Like you know the Kevin Hart scene where he's like, I'll come back and clap y'all up. That's not in the original movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the unrated cut. See, that's what people remember when they bought the DVD. Yeah.
And that's one of the all-time great scenes.
It's fantastic. All right, real quick, last thing before we get out of here, pop culture catch-up. I know we're going long. Eminem's new album's coming out on Friday. The Death of Slim Shady. The track list came out yesterday. I got to be honest. I'm a little excited. Like, I have not been a huge Eminem fan in quite some time because I thought he kind of changed his style up.
We know that by now. You've talked about this for like 6 podcast episodes.
Well, yeah, because I thought that the whole "I'm not afraid" was corny and cheesy, and that's when I got turned off by him. But I've been listening to his old stuff, the stuff that I kind of neglected. Like I listened to Relapse for the first time in a while yesterday. I was like, this is a good album. This is a good album. Even though he does a lot of the, accents a little too much.
Bagpipes from Baghdad.
Yeah, exactly that. Recovery, I still think is kind of too poppy for me, but there's some good songs on there. Revival's just awful. Maybe like one song's good on that. Regardless, it's coming out Friday, and I haven't been a huge fan of the 2 singles that he released, but I don't know. I just this is kind of building up. Like there's a lot of hype around this album. Like the last 2 he released, he just kind of off the cuff released them, and no one kind of knew. This one is kind of like getting me kind of hyped up for the old days, where I know the whole premise is he's killing off Slim Shady, but I'm kind of looking forward to it being like an old school Eminem album from the early days. And that's probably going to be like a mix of how he is today, not the same guy, not rapping about the same things, obviously. But it's going to be interesting. Like I hope there's like the same kind of themes. Like I don't know if you remember, Steven, but like every album would open up with, okay, here's a public service announcement from Eminem.
Right.
And Steve Berman, like the old executive, being like, this album sucks. It's never coming out. Or Paul Rosenberg, his lawyer, being like, you can't be making fun of Christopher Reeve. The guy's dead. So I'm just hoping it has that feel. And I definitely am hoping that after I saw the track list yesterday and saw that they're doing a Guilty Conscious 2, which that's a great song. It's edgy as fuck. And I hope it has the same feel. So I'm probably gonna be you know me. I'm always gonna be a curmudgeon when it comes to shit like this, Steven. So I'll probably be disappointed. But I'm actually kind of hyped for it.
I think he's in a different headspace now. All those albums were a product of what he was feeling at the time, and obviously Relapse, Recovery. Well, it's kind of in the name, and then I think then the Marshall Mathers LP2 was whatever. And then Revival, like I don't even know what Revival was supposed to be about.
The America.
There's, and then there was like Music to be Murdered by, which is good, but but this one it seems like he's in a frame of mind where he can just sit back and laugh and just make fun of people. So I hope that's where he's at.
I do too. I hope it harkens back to the old days. And I was a little too harsh because listening back to some of the albums that came out like 10 years ago, I thought it wasn't real Eminem, but I also neglect that, he was dealing with a major change in his life of not doing drugs anymore. So maybe he just wanted to change his whole demeanor. So I get that. But I'm just hoping that this album is kind of just reminds me of the old Eminem while also saying that, I'm not that guy anymore.
AJ Cruz says, I need that new K Dot. And then Otis Bird says, yep, we'll see if he has more disses on Drake. Did I give my unpopular opinion on the last show, on the last podcast, the unpopular music opinion?
No, by all means, go for it.
I just think that not like us, if it wasn't directed at Drake and everyone loves it because he's dissing Drake, like everybody. I think if that song was about anything else, if it wasn't a diss directed towards Drake, I think that with the beat, with the flow, I think there'd be an argument that Kendrick Lamar is on the downslide of his career if that song came out and that was the single.
So you think the song is popular because he disses Drake in it?
Yeah, I think that's because it's all about Drake. That's the only reason it's popular. But if it was like, but with the flow, with the beat, it's just, I hear it all the time. And then I'm just like, because I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. So I hear this song, I'm like, it's all right, but like, this isn't Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? Like
I agree with you.
rapping over a DJ Mustard beat. Like I love DJ Mustard because he gives you the sound of California, but his music's meant more for like guys like YG and I don't know, guys who make party music. Kendrick doesn't really do that. Kendrick's a little different.
I'm with you on that one because I know people will love this song and you know they play it around Oakland a lot, but the beat is awful. I am not a fan of the beat at all.
It's just played so much. It's like the anthem of the summer, and I'm just like, it only is because you're making fun of Drake, and I mean, who doesn't want to make fun of Drake? I mean, the dude.
Yeah, but I do wonder if that's why it's popular, though. I think people just like it and want to dance to it for whatever reason.
Maybe, but I think because of the whole Drake thing, like had Lamar just dropped it and had just dropped that song out of nowhere, and it's just a song about anything else, I think people would be like, "What the hell is this?" Because Drake rolled those out so quick Kendrick rolled those out so quick when Drake was. I mean, that one to me is just kind of like a half-ass song.
A little bit, yeah. Like I do think it's kind of like Drake talks about more profound things when he's not dissing Drake's, and this song just kind of felt like the beat. Yeah, like I don't know DJ Mustard at all, but it kind of feels like back to Recovery, like DJ Khaled should not be producing for Eminem. Like that just seems weird to me.
Yeah.
So this, like, I don't know DJ Mustard, but it did seem like a weird beat for a Kendrick song because he usually has better production.
Yeah, I mean, like his albums are so thought provoking and different. Like To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yep. Like
listen to if anyone likes music, I'm kind of promoting a Spotify thing, but go listen to Dissect on Spotify and go listen to the one on To Pimp a Butterfly. It is crazy how deep that album is. It's way more than what's on the surface. What you're seeing with Kendrick, you're obviously seeing the wordplay. Like, I mean, it is. I mean, come on, man. The one that everyone loves is the
A minor,
which it's a great line. It's a great line.
Yeah, kind of.
But I just don't think it'd be as big of a fucking. I just don't think it'd be as big of a song as it is right now. If it wasn't about Drake.
I still say that the best beef of all time is still Jay-Z and Nas because all the songs were great and both were lyrically fantastic and the production was fantastic. This is just a little, and it was never that personal.
Right.
I still don't like how personal it gets. That's just me and my old ways.
It can be a little weird. Music video is great though. I thought the music video for Not Like Us was great, but
it was good. DeMar DeRozan popping up,
but also it's a product of like Kendrick just doesn't put out music much. It's been a long time since Damn.
Well, that's the thing. Is this? Well, no, they had a song album 2 years ago.
Which one?
Mr. Morale and the Big.
Oh yeah, what the hell am I thinking? The Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Even that one. It had some deep cuts in it. Like I don't know, it's just not the same to me.
Yeah. And is there supposed to be an album coming out with this song, or is it just him just dissing Drake and they turned into a whole production?
I'm sure there is more music to come, but I think it's more just dissing Drake.
Yeah. All right, Steven. Well, that's enough for tonight. Have a great time at your bachelor party, man.
Oh, yeah. So you're not going to talk about England, huh? England making it to the Euro final.
You want to do Steven's 70-second soccer segment?
Yeah, actually, I do.
All right, here we go. Hang on. Ready? Siri, set a timer for 70 seconds. Go.
To start, watched a documentary the other day about the Champions League and the Super League, and one of the facts was the Champions League has more viewers than the Super Bowl, World Series, and NBA Finals combined, but that's neither here nor there. Soccer's a massive sport, Derek. Don't deny it. England in the final. They have never won the Euros. They haven't won a major tournament since the World Cup in 1966, which still gets on everyone. And when everyone hated the manager, Gareth Southgate, they wanted him out because they weren't scoring enough goals. Well, today against Netherlands, and they've been winning one pretty much in the last second every match so far. Well, in the semifinal against Netherlands, they had a penalty kick that probably shouldn't have been a penalty, but it was. They scored off that. Then they scored the equalizer with about a minute to go. This has been the most exciting run I've ever seen from England. And good God, if they lose to Spain in the final on Sunday, I don't know how I'm going to do anymore.
You got 10 seconds.
No, I got nothing else.
Oh, Well done. You did in 60. So that's going down on Sunday?
Yeah, it's going down on Sunday.
Well, I'll be sure to pay attention to that and make fun of you if they lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing more I like than someone random who doesn't watch soccer making fun of me for liking soccer.
You know what? I figured that you'll be having a good time at your bachelor party anyway, so who gives a shit?
Maybe. So my brother, he wants to. So my brother, we have plans, and on Friday we're going to the American Century Championship to watch a little golf.
Nice.
But we're gonna wake up early for that. Then on Saturday we got a boat, and he booked it for 9 a.m. So we got to get up in time to make it to the boat at 9.
Ooh, boy.
And then on Sunday, because the game's at noon, we actually check out at 10. He wants to leave at 8 a.m. on Sunday so we can make it back to the game or for the game instead of waiting a couple of hours out there, watching the game, and then traveling home.
So is this what you're talking about where Ian is showing his dadness?
He's become a dad, dude. He's a full-on dad. I mean, he's got 2 kids, and one of them's 7 and the other one's 4. But like, he is just a full-on dad where everything they schedule is just early. It's an early wake-up call. It's like,
yeah, dude, I would say good luck with all of that.
We're a bunch of 30-year-olds now, man. like,
yeah, dude,
we're
shit.
30s. We're not gonna. We're gonna want to sleep past 8 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, I get up early now in my oldness, but if I'm drinking, nah, you gotta let me be.
That's what I said. Well, I mean, the boat thing's fine. Like, I could deal with that.
Yeah.
But like waking up to leave at 8 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, man.
Like, what, you want me to still be drunk when we're driving home?
Yeah. Well, you know what, dude? Good luck with all that.
Yeah.
I think I have a great time regardless, but Ian may ruin it for you.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, the best man.
No, dude, have a great time. I'm sorry I will not be there with you, but enjoy your time being a bachelor.
Enjoy Del Boca Vista, dude.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna have my own bachelor party with me and my mom.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna do a lot more sleeping than you will be doing, apparently.
Just a reminder, everyone. Invited him in January, and he told me in like April that he wasn't.
All right, Steven, I'm sorry.
April.
No,
May. Actually, May. It might have been May.
No, it was April. I just thought I could plan it out well with go see my mom and going to see you. I was trying to do the whole Tahoe bus trip, but it didn't work. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're gonna have a great time at your actual wedding.
Yeah.
All right. Now I feel bad. No, you'll have a great time regardless. All right, everybody. So we'll see Steven in about a week. We'll see Steven in a week. He's gonna have a good time at his bachelor party. And as for me, you will see me in Del Boca Vista with Alon. We'll be talking about whatever, any NFL news. Training camp's coming up in a couple weeks too. So, and hopefully Justin Simmons signs. I have to go all crazy like a year ago with DeAndre Hopkins and Davante Adams.
Oh, no.
Or not Davante Adams, Dalvin Cook. Anyway, that's all we got for tonight, guys. We'll see you on Sunday with me and Alon. Thanks to everybody in the chat tonight. Steven, have a great time at your bachelor party. Say what you always say.
It's just an opinion, man. I got that wood.